This is the universal bracket installation walkthrough. What you're going to need to get started here is 2 zip ties, 2 9/16 inch wrenches, 1 3/8 inch socket or wrench, wire strippers or wire cutters, and a drill with a Phillips bit. When you receive your universal bracket, you'll get this neatly packaged package here, and what it contains is one main bracket, one smaller bracket, a driver, a module, hardware, and 4 wagos. Inside your hardware baggie here, you get 4 carriage bolts, 4 wing nuts, 2 8/32 screws, 4 washers, and 2 8/32 lock nuts. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is remove all the internal components away from your existing fixture. Make sure you save the screws from the reflector. We're going to need those to install the bracket here later on. Now, first thing you want to do pertaining to the bracket here is attach your driver. Now, we got a bunch of different holes here, depending on which driver you get in your package, depending on what holes you're going to use. You're going to take 8/32 and a lock nut. You're also going to have a washer on there. And you're going to go ahead and hand tighten them down at first. And we're going to go ahead and use the drill later on to kind of tighten everything up. After we have the driver attached to the bracket here, the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is size up the fixture. It's important that we already take out the reflector and all the internal components before we do this. Make sure you save the screws from the reflector as well. That's very important. What we're going to go ahead and do is just set this in the fixture where our mounting points are going to be. Just set it on one of the mounting points and then take the other bracket and slide it down. Now, after you have it where you want it, you're going to want to take at least one of these carriage bolts and wing nuts here. Make sure you attach one of them at least. Okay, now that we got that one, you're going to want to attach the rest of them. And the next thing we're going to do is attach the module. Now before we do that, we have these 3 different depths and we have the 3 different slots here. Now ideally you want to center it in the fixture, and depending on how far away from the glass you want it to be will depend on your depth here. Now if for whatever reason the driver, like this right here, is covering up this bottom hole and you need it there, you can always use the other holes on the driver or even remote mount it if you'd like. But for right now what we're going to do is we're going to set this in the fixture. We're going to kind of place the module where we want it to be. I want it at the top here in the center. That's where I'm going to put it. I'll just unscrew these hex nuts here and take one of the star washers off. And you want the face of the module facing up towards the top where the carriage bolts are, of course. And from here, we're going to take our 9/16 inch wrenches and just tighten everything down. If you want, you can always make sure that these other ones are tightened down too, just in case. Better safe than sorry. Now we're going to attach the leads. What we want to start out with is the red and blues. Alright, and you've been given 4 woggles in here, just use 2 of them. And connect red to red and blue to blue, of course. Okay, now that those are attached, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of tighten all these wires up and zip tie them to the bracket here. And what this does is it keeps the wires from ever entering the fan. And that's very important. Now, if for whatever reason you can't attach it to the bracket, say your driver is covering it up as something's going on, you can always attach it to the outside of the yoke bracket here. Just make sure that the wires aren't going to get on the fan. Okay. After you have that tightened down, just go ahead and use your wire strippers or your wire cutters and just cut this off. I like the wire strippers because if you have a fixture and you got old leads on there you want to snip down, you can always do that. We give you 2 extra woggles here to be able to reconnect those. After your leads are attached here, what we're going to do is we're going to place this in the fixture and install it here. Now you're going to need your existing screws from the reflector we just had. You're going to take the 2 washers that we gave you as well. Now if for whatever reason this isn't centered in your fixture, the module on the yoke bracket here, the 3/8 inch socket or wrench will help you slide this up and down the bracket to your desire. Once that's in, we're going to go ahead and connect our white and black leads to our line voltage. That's pretty simple. If you don't have woggles on here, again, we gave you some, so you should be able to make use of them. Now, what I also like to do is take the extra zip tie here and just clean this up a little bit. It helps make the fixture look a little bit better. Not that anybody's going to see it, and it also if for whatever reason something crazy happens, it's an added insurance to keep the lines out of the fan here. Let's cut this down. As soon as all this is connected, all your leads are attached, all your everything's screwed in, you're ready to close your fixture. You're going to take the cover off the module here. Now, ideally, all you got to do is take off 2 of these prongs. It should lift right up, but that isn't an ideal world. Make sure that when you take this cover off, you're not scraping the diodes or any of the components on the board here. Just go ahead and close the fixture back up. And tighten everything back down. And there you have it. The universal bracket.